So far, we had some really good games in this play-in tournament. From that 7-8 matchup to the 9-10 matchup. And now we got the conclusion happening tomorrow. And before I even get into the full details of this play-in tournament, the one thing I do want to start with is what I mentioned at the end of the last one was Odell Beckham Jr. signing with the Baltimore Ravens. And so, a few days ago, the Ravens did sign Odell Beckham Jr., wide receiver, to the Ravens for a 1 year, $18 million contract, which I think 15 of it is guaranteed. So, congrats to Odell Beckham for sticking to his guns and, actually getting paid for a guy who hasn't played football in over a year. That is pretty remarkable. So it makes you wonder that what would happen next with Lamar Jackson? Is Lamar going to end up staying? Would this, make him want to stay? Maybe sign a franchise tag? Or work out a somewhat of a different long-term extension than what he had planned? It just makes you wonder, right? And, of course, on social media, Lamar Jackson has, approved the signing of Odell Beckham Jr. because I can't remember the last time that the Baltimore Ravens actually had a wide receiver one of this caliber on their team. Granted, this isn't Odell Beckham for 4 or 5 years ago, but once again, if you look at the sample size of the wide receivers that the Baltimore Ravens have had over the last several years, it's like this is by far the best that they had as an X option. As we go back through it, as I'm thinking, so we have Rashad Bateman, who probably could be up with number one, but it's still up in the air because he's been hurt. We've had Hollywood Brown, who seemed like he's more of an excellent slot receiver instead of a number one. So inconsistent there. Devin Duvernay, no. Sammy Watkins, he was there, but he hasn't been the same since he first got in the league. And I'm thinking back, maybe Steve Smith Sr., but that's when he was past his prime. So I'm sitting like, who has been that man for Baltimore? Because as we know, during Lamar Jackson's tenure, he's never had a legit number one at wide receiver. It's been Mark Andrews, and he's a tight end. So now, if Lamar does sign, then he actually have probably the best weapons he's ever played with on the outside of the numbers. That's if the man, decides to rejoin. So, it is up in the air. There was a poll in our Facebook group, and most people, including myself, said that he probably will end up re-signing with the Ravens because of this. But once again, who knows? It's still, still early. It's literally 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, so anything can happen between now and then. We probably have a better indicator by the draft. Because if a team does sign Lamar Jackson to the offer sheet, maybe they want to wait until after the draft to do so. So it could be 24 and 25 first round picks as opposed to the draft coming up in 2 weeks. Maybe that's the case. So we'll see. It's just been an odd off season for a quarterback that's in his prime, who's 26, who's already a former MVP, Pro Bowler, All Pro, etc. It's just odd. Yeah, I get that, teams doesn't want to tie up their cap when they can go draft a rookie quarterback and, fill in all the needs around them, basically do what the Rams had tried to do a few years ago and yada, yada, yada. But so it just seems like multiple teams are ready to, take a risk of having an unknown commodity as opposed to a guy that's proven. So just a little weird. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. The other, I guess, note from the NFL right now is Saquon Barkley. So the report is Saquon Barkley would not be signing a franchise tag, making him ineligible to participate in the Giants offseason program. Now, I'm on record saying that I wanted Saquon Barkley to sign with the Bears this offseason. Saquon Barkley's my favorite running back. Of course, the Bears are my favorite team. Bam. That would have been great. But at the last second, I mean literally the last second, the New York Giants signed Daniel Jones to a long-term contract. And in essence, they threw the franchise tag on Saquon Barkley so they would not lose him in free agency. Had that contract not happened with Daniel Jones, Saquon would have probably been an unrestricted free agent, and the rest would have been history somewhere. So, Saquon Barkley, in his 4 years in the league, or 5, I can't put my finger on it right now. It's been at least 4. I know his rookie year, he was sensational. Then, next couple has been injured. Then he was finally healthy last year and balled out. In my opinion, he lived up to the contract. I mean, granted, he was the second overall pick in the class the way he came out of. Not his fault, but you can tell that the talent was definitely there, and the Giants, took the chance, and voila. So at this point, I don't blame Saquon for not signing the franchise tag. I see people talking about that, basically comparing this to Le'Veon Bell, but I feel like this is completely different. Le'Veon, I feel like, for one, Le'Veon and Saquon are just two different, styles of running backs here. Le'Veon, I think ego was a lot higher, and he actually, ended up accepting a contract with the Jets, which was a lot lower than what the Steelers had offered him as far as a contract extension. So you leave a good situation for a worse one for less money. And from a football standpoint, just bad overall. You left a good thing for that. Yeah, I don't think Saquon is going to be doing that. But Saquon wants to get paid for a position that is very scarce. And his talent says that he is very elite in that regard. So I don't blame him right now. But I'm hoping, maybe, just maybe, he ends up signing a tag, and then next offseason he becomes a free agent again. I don't know, but either way, man, I hope you get your money. And now, really quick, to these play-in games. Listen, 3 out of the 4 games that we had so far has been great. So, the one game that wasn't so great was the Hawks and the Heat. The Hawks came to South Beach and took care of business, beating the Heat 116-105. Trae Young played well, but the storyline was the fact that the Hawks just dominated the glass and got second chance points all over the place. I watched bits and spurts of that game, and like the Heat came back, the Heat was down by 15 in the second half, and they knocked the lead down like within 4 or 6. But Atlanta, took the punch in the mouth. They weathered the storm, still got to their spot, still crashed the boards, offensive glass. It's like Miami just didn't want it enough. And that, leads me to back what I've been saying. Miami Heat can be a first-round exit or a championship contender in the same game, and I was watching it. I was watching how bad they were playing, and I was watching the greatness at one point in time. I don't get it, but nevertheless, the Hawks got the 7th seed. They will play the Boston Celtics in the first round. The Heat has one more chance, and we'll get into that, their opponent here in a few. The Lakers and Timberwolves. Listen, the Timberwolves should have probably won this game. Anthony Edwards played probably the worst game of his career. Timberwolves was up in this game. They could not buy a basket. Lakers did enough. Winning overtime. They ended up winning by 6, 108 to 102. Yeah, now the Lakers have the Memphis Grizzlies in the first round, which a lot of people believe that the Lakers are going to win this series. I'm not saying that they're wrong. Maybe because, Steven Adams is out right now. Brandon Clark, they lost him earlier on for the rest of the year. So they're a little thin up top. But, this is a Memphis team that is young, fast, energized, went through some turmoil, has a chip on their shoulder. You don't think they remember what happened last year in the playoffs? You don't think John Morant is not going to have a chip on his shoulder from the stuff that he went through this year? You think Jaren Jackson Jr. wants, some respect on his name? Since he's probably going to be the defensive player of the year? I'm just saying. Look, I get it. They're a little vulnerable. And the Lakers have been playing well overall lately. But if the Lakers play anywhere near to what they played against the Timberwolves, they are not winning that series. At all. At all. So, yeah, Laker Nation, I get it. And I asked the question on Facebook, and I got plenty of responses. Plenty of people picking the Lakers to beat the Grizzlies. So, we'll see. But, man, I don't think it's going to be as easy as what people think is in that regard as far as the Lakers winning that series. And so, last night's games. So, of course, I was paying attention to my Bulls. I didn't get a chance to cut the game on until the fourth quarter because I was doing a lot of stuff at home. But, I had the game cast on, checking in periodically. Man, for the first 3 quarters, Bulls couldn't get it done. I'm like, well, lottery, here we come. Blow this roster up. They're not defending. LaVine's not doing enough. It looks like it's only DeRozan out here trying to play against his former team. And then Zach LaVine happened. I'm pretty sure that man dropped 39 last night. The Bulls rallied in the fourth quarter. They ended up winning the game 109 to 105. Yep, Zach LaVine, 39 points. I think DeRozan had 23. But the real unsung hero, you probably heard it by now, is DeMar DeRozan's daughter. She was at the game. The Raptors shot 18 of 36 from the free throw line, which I think is the worst free throw percentage for that team with a certain number of attempts all time. And it's because she was screaming like she was getting chased by Michael Myers in them Halloween movies every time they shot the ball. The high-pitched scream. But apparently, it was working. It was working. It worked. And now she is social media famous. Like, they are in love with her, support her dad. According to DeMar, though, she skipped school to attend the game. And she ain't going to be at the Miami Heat game because she got to go to school. But nevertheless, like, before the game started, I said the Bulls could either win by 10 or lose by 25. Now, at one point in time, they was down 19 in this game, so it was looking like they was losing by 25. But then, Zach LaVine showed me something. He really did. I think he only had 8 points entering the second half or the fourth quarter. I forgot which one. I think it's the second half. But anyway, no, the Bulls definitely showed me something on that. Now you got to do it one more time against an opponent that can be really good if they played up to it. They could be. in the Miami Heat. You got to travel to South Beach. Going to Miami and take on the Heat. It's no easy task. Just so the winner of that matchup can play the Bucks in the first round and probably lose. But nevertheless, I mean, if you showed me something before, show it to me again. And there's a lot of Bulls fans that, they're just upset with this team overall, and I get it. Because we're stuck in NBA purgatory, stuck in the middle. We're too good to have a high lottery pick. Too bad of a team to actually make it advance in the playoffs and stuff. So, stuck in mediocrity. But at this point, look, if you make it past the Heat and play the Bucks in the first round, I definitely don't expect you to win that series at all because I have the Bucks winning it all. But if you can make the series interesting, if you can push it 6-7 and actually have some competitive games within those losses, then I'm okay with that. I will live with that as a Bulls fan. At least I know, you ain't. Nah, I ain't gonna say that, but at least I know that you got some dog in you. Yeah. So yeah, Bulls take care of business, and then the Thunder and Pelicans. I actually had the Pelicans winning this game. I did, because Brandon Ingram has been playing like lights out. And they've been there before, and CJ McCollum was doing his thing, but I guess they just been a Zion Williamson away. See what I did there? But anyway, I guess the Thunder had a big third quarter. So the Thunder ended up winning 123-118. Thunder outscored the Pelicans 39-24 in the third quarter. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I believe should be all NBA, he scored 32. And then you had Josh Giddey. Mr. Giddy up. That man had 31, 9, and 10. 31 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. Almost had a triple-double out here. So, hey, this Thunder team. I only know 2 people that are legitimate Thunder fans right now. Hey, you never know. Maybe they can beat a wounded Timberwolves team. I mean, Timberwolves played the way they did in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, then yeah, the Thunder gonna win that game. So if Anthony Edwards played like he did against the Lakers, they gonna win that game. Yeah, because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should definitely be all NBA this year. He deserves it. He's earned it. He's a top 5 scorer in the league. Ain't nobody thought the Thunder would be here. I think they had them winning no more than 14 games this year. And look at what they are now. But anyway, so those 2 games are Friday, and then the official NBA playoffs kicks off Saturday, where we got 4 games on Saturday and 4 games on Sunday. We are in a good spot here, so let's continue to enjoy this postseason run by the NBA until the wheels fall off. So continue to rock with your boy right here in the No Offense Radio and No Offense Network. Check me out on social media at JGoodWithSports. We're talking about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And continue to rock with your boy right here on JGoodWithSports Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. Saturday, of course, once again, I'm with my fellas, with the boys on the Early Morning Sports Talk Podcast, live on Facebook at 7 a.m. Central Standing Time, as we discuss those things that happened in sports within the last week, and of course, anything Chicago-based related. Come on, kick it with your boys, Brandon, Ian, and myself. So, until then, you all, let's continue to enjoy this great weather. You all be safe. Stay blessed. Until next time, peace.